Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sheridan College, Toronto campus, located here in Oakville, Ontario. I'm Ryan Kane, joined alongside Cajun Theo Donny Castellam, and we got a jam-packed matchup today. The 1-6 Sheridan Bruins are looking for their first win on home court, but it's going to be no easy task. They got to take on the 6-1 St. Clair Saints. Cajun, what can we expect from this jam-packed matchup today?
Well, it's been a while. Well, Ryan, it's been a while since Sheridan's been at home. The last time they were at home was November 7th against Conestoga, in which they lost in straight sets. So it's been a stretch of 3 weeks since they've been in the friendly confines of the self-coined Bear Cave as St. Clair set to serve.
Sheridan with the ball now in St. Clair territory, and a good drive by Kielce trying to get it up, and Bakes throws it in, but that one goes out of bounds. A nice rally there by Sheridan, but that one just sails a smidge out of bounds.
Julia Bakes thought they were... Oh, and it got overturned. There was a touch at the net. There was a touch on that hit from Julia Bakes, and Sheridan's on the board first.
Yeah, that's exactly what head coach Stuart Hoper was hoping for. He wants his team to get out to a quick start, but as we say that, the Saints tied this one up at 1-all.
Haurigi with the serve that went a little wayward as
Huggins sees this one off, and it's over into Bruins territory. Bruins did a nice job of rallying. They put this one over back in St. Clair. St. Clair with the spike, but it is a nice block there by Sheridan, and that was Abigail Ellis with the block. That now makes it 2-1 Sheridan.
Well, Cabral with the great setup there to Surgeonor, but Surgeonor with the Sheridan defense in plain sight could only hit the net. And that's a point for St. Clair as it hit the antenna first.
And after Sheridan got off to a quick start, 2-1 early in this first set, St. Clair has shown resilience in this one so far, and they've battled back now to make it 2-2. St. Clair tees this one off, and it's over to Bruins. Bruins with the spike, but this one sails out of bounds. Now it is 3-2 for the St. Clair Saints.
Yeah, not really much of a question there on whether there was a tip or not. That went out.
This one over to Bruins territory. It's a nice save.
Great defense there from Sheridan. Pancakes all over the floor, and it went out. And that attack there by Ariana Carl goes wayward. So great defense by Sheridan leading to the point.
A great spike there by the St. Clair Saints. And that was Louis Erninger there, and this one is now 4-3 early in this first set for St. Clair.
And it seems like Cabral is trying to force feed Surgeonor through that passing option.
A nice rally going on there by Abigail Ellis, but she sends this one just out of bounds. It's now a 2-point lead for the St. Clair Saints.
And that's 2 attack errors there by Sheridan early on.
St. Clair sends this one over, and this one goes out of bounds. That was just a little much by Louis Erninger there, and this one now is only a 1-point lead for St. Clair. Ellis tees this one off, and this one just makes it over in St. Clair territory. St. Clair with the rally now. Nice saved by Bates. St. Germain keeps this one up, and it's now back into Saints territory. Saints tee this one up.
Oh my goodness, Bakes, but a 2-hit there by Ellis negated what was a quick twitch reaction there from Julia Bakes. Life hit her fast, and she was more than up to the task, but the 2-hit kind of negated that amazing sequence from Bakes.
Sheridan now with, and they put it over to St. Clair. St. Clair's nice job with rallying this one, and this is a nice job by the Sheridan Bruins to keep this one up. And this one just goes off Kayla St. Germain, and this one goes out of bounds. It is now 6-5 in this first set.
And it seemed like the official was kind of playing the guess game on who hit it. Was it the net? Was it the Bruin? Ultimately, he guessed the Bruins, and head coach Stuart Hooper was like, "No way." You can kind of hear it from here.
Absolutely, Hooper is desperate for this.
And maybe that service error was a Baldo line moment.
Absolutely, this one was a tricky call, but I believe the ref got the right call made. And it's now 7-5 with St. Germain for the setup, and this one's over in the same territory, and a nice job.
Oh my goodness! Kayla St. Germain and Chloe Bushby mixing up on that one to give. It's been a while since I brought this out. The no, courtesy of the Great Wall of Oakville.
Saints now at the ball, and they put this one over, but Bates could not handle it. The Saints now go up 8-6.
Well, great adjustment there by Carl. The block was up and ready to deliver yet another block, but credit Carl, she recognized that from the back and lobbed it over the defense and into a soft spot.
Saints now with this one. They put it over in the Bruins territory. And a nice job there by Bates to go out of bounds and get it. Putting in the extra effort, and a nice block there by Kayla St. Germain. But this one sails out of bounds. Saints point now 9-6.
This Sheridan team, home sweet home, that seems like they're playing with a ton of energy to start things off. It hasn't shown on the scoreboard, but defensively, they're flying all over the place.
St. Germain now Bates with the tee, and this one hits off a St. Clair Saint, and this one is now 9-7.
Bakes with her second kill of the game.
St. Germain now with the serve. St. Germain serves it, but this one does not have enough, and this one hits off the net and still in Bruins territory, 10-7 Saints. And the Bruins put this one over in the Saints territory. And that was Chloe Bushby, but it sails just out of bounds into the deep left corner. Now 11-7 Saints, and they're running off with this one.
And Ryan, early on there, this as a rare miscue there from the Saints defense. And a timeout called by head coach Stuart Hooper as Heidi Firth and Harigi, we're kind of in that in-between mode. Do I go for it? Do I let it go? And then if you're in that in-between mode, good things tend to not happen.
Yeah.
But defensively, aside from that, they've been great.
They really have. I think this is a crucial timeout called by head coach Stuart Hooper. This Bruins came out absolutely firing on all cylinders early in this first set, but the Saints have really shown their resilience and battled back and made this now a 12-7 volleyball game. Now let's tee up the second half of this first set.
And boy, this St. Clair attack is potent as
and now the refs are deciding who the point will be awarded to, and it is foul.
As it's a reserve, and St. Clair is not happy about that.
St. Clair serves this one over. Bates receives. St. Germain with the spike, and it's a good job keeping this one up by Ariana Carroll. And the Saints try to put this one over, and that was Hannah Gill, but it did not have enough. Bounced off the net, and now only a 4-point game in favor of the Saints.
Tried to lob it over the defense, but couldn't get it over the net in the first place as miss hit there. And if you want to talk about a miss hit, the look on Mackenzie Marshall's face after that hit said it all.
Absolutely. Lily Sillinger tried this one over, but it sails left out of the boundary, and it is now an 12-9 game. And that's a nice spike there by Faith Kaler there.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of with Stuart Hooper there. It looked like it could have been a reach over. Ultimately, the main official's opinion matters far more than ours. As great call there by Ellis and Firth to just let it go.
Looks like Stuart Hooper there got a bit of a break there. Could have been a reach over, but they get a point right back now, 13-10.
And an ace for Bushby as that serve handcuffed Huggins. As well as the libero Hannah Gill.
They search this one over, and Gill can't get to it. This one hits the wood, and it is 13-12. Now only a 1-point deficit, Sheridan Bruins.
Well, it was too close out of a net, and that's kind of an interesting return to sender, courtesy of Julia Biggs. She has really played well to start things off, and their service game has been great. Free balled over by St. Clair. Bushby with the assist, and down! It's Biggs again.
As you mentioned, Caitlin Bates has had an absolutely phenomenal start to this game, and I think the extra motivation is they have not had a home win this season in front of their home fans, so I think this is what is driving this Sheridan Bruins team.
Hey, Ryan, I gotta ask you something. You watch any Chris Smoove? Have you watched any Chris Smoove?
I have not.
You've heard of him, right?
I have.
Then St. Clair's coach, Julianne Milling, said, they need a timeout.
Absolutely, that is a well-needed timeout there. They were up by 5 points, Kajon, in this one, and now they are all knotted up at 13 apiece. So as you mentioned, they need a timeout, absolutely, and it is a well-needed timeout. Just trying to regroup and get your game plan under center.
And as well as Sheridan has played, St. Clair has uncharacteristically kind of been out of sorts to start things off. They have 6 players that average at least 2 points per set. Huggins leading the way with almost 5 as Serge Honor, who is second on the team with 4 points per set, gets it through the block.
Nice save there by Bates. Bates puts it over now into Saints territory. The Saints now with a good rally, and the spike comes, and they could not keep this one up. And it was Heidi Furth in the vicinity, and this one hits the floor, 15-13 now.
That was Bakes, as well as I believe Ellis might have been in the vicinity of that, mixing in on that block on Ariana Carl. But she wasn't going to be denied a second time.
No, absolutely not. Bates has been outstanding in this one so far in this first set. And they really showed on this one, but the Saints take a 16-14 lead. And now this one was too hot to handle. The Sheridan Bruins and the Saints now take a 3-point lead.
And it serves like that. That's really dangerous when it just whisks past the net. Then you kind of have like not really much of a reaction time to get to it.
And that is a nice block behind the net. And another nice block there from the St. Clair Saints. And yet another, and they keep this one up. And a nice rally. And this one sails just out of bounds. It was a nice couple blocks there from the Saints and a nice rally. But the Bruins come away with this point. The Saints now put this one
Great
over.
defense there from Sheridan. And was that a net violation? It was by St. Clair. Point to Sheridan, and they're every time St. Clair seems to pull away, Sheridan finds themselves right back in it. What a serve.
And this one is a nice little spike over the net there by the Sheridan Bruins. And this one, yet again, is tied up at 17-17.
And you could argue St. Clair might have had an argument for a reach over there, too. Both coaches not fans of the officials here early on.
This one just makes it over the net, and St. Clair receives, and they put this one over, and Bates receives. Bruins put this one back over to Saints territory.
Wow, I cannot believe St. Clair got that off.
And Ariana Carl could not get to this one. It is now a 18-17 game for the Sheridan
St. Clair
Bruins.
has looked a step slower on defense than Sheridan thus far.
And now this one is 18-18. We're on the serve. It didn't make it over the net.
Oh my goodness. How? Sheridan's defense is playing out of its mind. And then Carl just found the back of found the back corner right there. So that defense, as amazing as it was for that point, was all for naught.
So it was a great rally and a great keep up by Sheridan. But St. Clair's done an excellent job.
And they take advantage. And Haregi got blocked. Courtesy of Cabral and Smith. Timeout, Sheridan.
And Kayshon, early in this one, Sheridan has done a great job, as you mentioned, on the defensive side of the ball, keeping the ball up and having nice rallies. And they have had a great net presence early on, not letting St. Clair get many opportunities. How do you think that has contributed to this game?
Honestly, based off of that first night, you can make a season's compilation of defensive highlights from the Sheridan women's volleyball team based off of that first set alone. Like, points that I thought were going to be points, all of a sudden weren't.
Mm-hmm.
They are playing with a ton of energy. They're trying to prove something here tonight.
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, only one win on the season. That has got to be some type of motivation for this Bruins team. And this St. Clair team comes into this one 6-1. They are one of the top teams in the league, and they are just looking to add to their win total here today.
Well, when you do have a lot of young talent on that, when you have a young roster like Sheridan does, you're gonna go through some growing pains. But you can kind of see defensively how they could all shape up to be if things go right. As Haregi, credit her for using the block to her advantage, hitting it off the block and out of bounds. And Sheridan getting that point out of the timeout. Staying on pace here in this set.
And this is one of the closest games the Sheridan Bruins have played all season long. And as I say that, now it is 21-19 for the Sinclair Saints. St. Clair receives it now. They have a nice rally going on, and it's a nice little kind of a fake spike there, and she just lays it over. And an overall nice play there by Kiana Huggins, and it is now a 22-19 game. St. Clair sets this one off. It's just by St. Germain. St. Germain, nice rally to keep this one up. And a nice net presence there by the Saints to deny the Bruins up the point.
And somehow, some way, Abigail Ellis from Broadway came down out of nowhere and left the Saints defense stunned.
Saints now with a nice rally, but Kayla St. Germain can't get to this one in time, and it is now a 23-20 game.
Huggins with the kill, but it was negated by the net violation by Sheridan made that point St. Clair's anyways.
Bates goes up for it, and she just puts it over. Gill with the reception. And this one lands just in bounds. And now the Saints are within 1 point of their first set win. And now Shaylin Craig comes in for the Sheridan Bruins.
And a little cheeky serve there from Cabral. Lands in a dead spot in that Bruins defense, who kind of let that set get away from them a little bit in that first set. Still a great set though by the Bruins, but you kind of see the talent in St. Clair start to show out as that set drew to a close.
Exactly. There is a lot of talent on this St. Clair team. It's no easy task to go 6-1 in this league, and they have done that. They have proven why they are at one of the top teams in the OCAA. So it's going to be no easy task for the Sheridan Bruins to battle back in these last two sets. And now we are set to kick this second set off. It was a very even first set from both teams in this one. And Cation, what does the Sheridan Bruins need to do to battle back in this second set?
Well, from how I've seen this Bruins team, they've always started off well as, my goodness, was that a miss there by Faith Clair? As St. Germain set to serve. Gets it over. Clair blocked. Huggins off the block. Bakes off the block. Huggins has it.
And a nice play there by the St. Clair Saints to get this one over to Bruins territory. And that was a little too hot to handle. And it's now a 1-1 game.
Clair did not wait for the setup. She was like, I'll do it myself. As that is I want to say the fourth serve they've kind of lobbed it right at they've kind of lobbed it just over the net and right at the feet of a Bruin. They're gonna have to kind of clean that up, service receptions wise. Oh my goodness. And too close to the net, and Julia Bakes says thank you very much. But what a play there. Back-to-back digs from Heidi Firth to pretty much steal a point away from the St. Clair Saints. Bakes and misplayed there by Hobbin. And now Sheridan's up 3-2 in this second set.
And in this season so far, the Bruins have done a nice job of getting ahead of their opponents early, but cannot maintain the league. And we'll see if they can turn it around in this one.
And Huggins off the block and out. And she's set to serve. And that's another ace for St. Clair. That courtesy of Huggins. Firth could not get to that in time. And back-to-back aces for Huggins.
Yeah, the Bruins need to clean that up early. The St. Clair Saints have had nice serves early on in this one. They've had a lot of power behind them, but the Bruins just cannot handle them. And Huggins now set to serve this one off. Huggins sends this one over into Bruins territory. Bruins receive. Nice job by Ellis, and she spikes this one down into Saints territory. Kind of a dead spot there, no one in the vicinity, and it is now 6-4.
And if you didn't know, there was a substitution made late in that first set as Huggins gets it over. Harigi got it over. Off the block. St. Germain. Ellis off the block. Bushby. Bakes. Lobs it over. And Hobbin left the Bruins defense frozen as she hits it into the open back corner. 7-4 St. Clair.
And the Saints have done a good job all year long, and especially all of this game of placing the ball in the right spots where the Bruins just cannot get to it in time, and it's reflected a lot on the scoreboard.
And a miss hit there from Julia Bakes, and timeout called by head coach Stuart Hooper. Now, mind you, Ryan, it looked like St. Clair was going to run away with that first set when Coach Hooper called his first timeout in that first set. It was 12-7 St. Clair. But after that timeout was called, after that timeout by Stuart Hooper, they scored 6 of the next 7 points.
Yeah, and that just contributes to the resilience of this team and how they can battle back early on this one, and how they're not discouraged easily, sorry. And they are just looking to battle back in this one.
I mean, why would you be if you're if you're having great defensive moments like that, like what Sheridan's having? Now, the next step for these girls is, can you put it all together throughout the course of a game? Can you put it together through the course of consecutive games, 3 games? Because the minute they figure that out on a more consistent basis,
And a nice spike there by Samantha Clement.
So
it is now a 9-4 game in favor of the St. Clair Saints.
So now it was her sister Emma Clements that set up Samantha for the kill. And a substitution here. Haregi out, and coming in,
Shaylin Craig comes in now for substitution.
Rebound over, and Julia Biggs forced the issue. Kaler played it, and nobody else did right after.
And a nice diving effort there by Shaylin Craig, but it is no avail. Now an 11-5 game.
What a 2-hit there by Clements. Off the block, St. Germain. Who is she setting up? It's Bakes. Lobs it over. Clements. To Harley Smith. And a point there by Sheridan, courtesy of the net violation.
No, Ellis gets ready to serve this one off. And she does, this one gets over. And Ellis tries to make the diving play, but it is to no avail. The Saints now take a commanding.
What a serve there from Abigail Ellis, but a knee-jerk reaction there from Huggins caught Sheridan off guard, and that led to a point from St. Clair. And you can kind of see the difference in attacking prowess when it comes to these two teams in St. Clair and Sheridan. St. Clair taking advantage of their opportunities, although they've been great on the serve, though, but not on that try there.
No, that one just didn't have enough power behind it, and they've done a great job all game, but this one hits the net.
Huggins blocked. And that's Harley Smith. In spite of the diving effort there from, I want to say it was Emily Miller, that tried to do that dolphin dive to try to keep that ball in play, but ultimately couldn't. Huggins, and that's blocked by Bushby, and she does the finger wag right after. No, 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 no. The Great Wall of Oakville will not be denied. And Saint Germain, it was just out.
Yeah, and Saint Germain here has done a great job all match long of placing the serves in the right spot, but this one just sails out of bounds. And this one is just enough to make it over.
And a 2-hit there by Bushby. And head coach Hooper thought was about to call a timeout and ultimately decided not to. Craig off the block. Huggins. Free balled over by Firth. Huggins again, and that goes wayward, so point goes to Sheridan.
And a nice sequence there by the St. Clair Saints, but this one just sails a tad out of bounds.
We got another substitution. Rowan Agar coming in.
And Shaylin Craig with the serve.
And Ellis out. What a serve there by Craig. But Kaler with an equally monstrous kill off the block. Now doubled up are the Saints, 18-9. Somehow that was kept in play. And these ladies are hustling all over the place. And did that go over? It did not. Emma Clements kept that on her side, but not sure if anybody from St. Clair recognized that after.
And this one is sailed over into Bruins territory in the right spot.
And Hobbin, she's done that on a couple of occasions where she's hit it cross court to that right back corner. That's kind of been a soft spot in this Bruins defense during this second set. And that's off the block and out for Emily Miller. Bakes. Huggins up to the task. And Emma Clements asking for a reach over there by Sheridan. And the explanation that the official gave to Clements that she's trying to relay to her coach falls on deaf ears. St. Germain setting up Agar off the block. Great defense there from Craig. Free balled over by Van. Oh my goodness, Van Doon doing free balls it over off the block, and Bakes dove. Craig dove they've looked superhuman on defense at multiple stretches during this game.
Absolutely, they're diving all over the place, left, right, and center here, making some nice defensive stops, and are not making it easy on this Saints team, who has done a great job all season, getting points when they need to. But the Bruins have done a great job on defense.
Now set to serve. She just came on. Brooke Vickers. Hobbin gonna try to lob it, and Firth kind of misplayed it. Or misjudged it. That lob attack has really worked for St. Clair tonight. Free balled over, and it ended up being a 2-hit by Craig at the end of it. And now, don't think Coach Hooper's going to call a timeout here for the rest of the set. I don't see it happening. And somehow, some way, Agar gets that point from what was an out-of-system play there by Sheridan, somehow getting the point out of it.
No.
And Surgeonor wasn't exactly precise like a surgeon with that attack. And Hobbin off the block and harmlessly for St. Clair on Sheridan's court. 2 points away is St. Clair from winning the second set. Miller gets it over. Higgs gets a hold of it. And Agar tried to go from the back row there, but hit the net.
And that is a nice defense there by the St. Clair Saints. Just deny the Sheridan Bruins of a point right at the net.
And you want to talk about a booming serve to end the set. Harley Smith with the ace. And this one, great moments there from Sheridan defensively, but this set wasn't really close from the get-go.
No, it really wasn't, Cajun. It was overall a great two-way performance by the Saints on the offense and defense side of the ball in this one. But the Sheridan Bruins, they might have lost this set, but there was a lot of great things to take away from it. A lot of great net presence there and a lot of great defense. And the Saints just need one more set win to come away with this one. And welcome back, everybody, to this third set with the Sheridan Bruins and the St. Clair Saints. If you're just tuned in, the St. Clair Saints have currently a 2-0 set lead over the Bruins and are looking to close this one out quickly and precisely.
St. Clair might be up 2-0, but I think they can even tell you they have not really played their best volleyball tonight, especially in that first set. Now, they did pull away late. In that second set, we saw more of St. Clair being St. Clair.
Absolutely. St. Clair, if you guys don't know, is at one of the top teams in the standings, and they are just an absolutely excellent.
And they've made some
put-together
substitutions here. Some of the starters are sitting by the sidelines as they're letting the reserves play here. And Serginor off the setup from Emma Clements put her right at Firth, who didn't have an answer for that. Free balled over by Firth. Gill. And somehow, in a sequence, in a rally that kind of felt like pinball, Serginor had a return to sender opportunity and missed.
Now this one sails just
And
out of
again,
bounds.
Serginor with another attack error. Haregi hits the net on that serve, but before ducked out of the way on that attack error by Serginor. And it's been that serve of St. Clair's that has given Sheridan fits ever since the end of that first set.
Yeah, St. Clair has done a great job of battling back, and when they do, it is tough to regain the lead on this Saints team.
Back-to-back aces there from Ariana Carl. Can she make it 3 of a kind? No, she can't. And a kill there from St. Clair to stop her service run, as now Chloe Bushby set to serve. 4-3 for the home, 4-3 for the away side. No libero on for Sheridan. And a kill, another kill there from Serginor.
This is Harley Smith to serve this one for the Saints. And this one does not have enough, and it hits off the net.
And that was too close to the net and then placed perfectly. Courtesy of, I believe that was Taylor. Serginor surgically gets that serve across, and that's Abigail Ellis. Her numerical counterpart. Carl couldn't get there in time.
Ellis has been one of the many bright spots on the Sheridan Bruins team, along with her teammate Bates.
And Bakes from her back foot, but got blocked by Kaler. Hobbin, and that's an ace for Hobbin. A miscommunication there from Ellis and Firth on who was gonna go for that reception. Both of them went for it, and it ultimately cost them. Ellis more than up to the task there. St. Germain, Howrigi hit the net.
Yeah, great strength behind that spike, but it just didn't have the angle it needed to get over the net, and head coach Stuart Hooper calls a well-timed timeout while the Bruins are down by a score of 9-5.
We're back in play here. As St. Clair up 9-5. Aubin continuing your serve. St. Germain free balled over. Well, not really by Bakes. Clements. Off the block from Carl. Howrigi. And somehow Craig got to it. Sorry, that was Ellis. And then she free balls it over at the end. And I gotta tell you, if that ball was in play, I would not have been shocked if Firth jumped over.
Yeah, absolutely. The way they're playing this game is a great defensive matchup, and I absolutely wouldn't doubt that she would have just hit the little dive over the desk there, try to get this ball back into play.
And a lift from Sheridan leads to a point from St. Clair, who's now on a 5-0 run and counting. Too close to the net! And Carl hit it off the block and out. Free balled over by Ellis. What a two-hit there from Emma Clements. There's now a substitution here. Agar out, Agar in, Ellis out. As this set started off close, it was 6-5. And finally, at long last, at least if you're a Sheridan fan, that run is finally over.
Yeah, they did a great job of just keeping themselves in a defensive standpoint. But the St. Clair Saints are a very good team, and you need more from your offense than your defense in this one.
13-6 for St. Clair. It was 25-20 first set as Miller hits the net, and now she gets rotated out for Firth. Kaler. St. Germain, the runner is Bushby, and she tried to lob it over but couldn't get it over the net.
And that one is a well-needed point from the Sheridan Bruins to get themselves just a little bit closer to draw this deficit to 8 points.
And that's Carl no, sorry. That's Samantha Clements. And Firth just gets it over. And oh my! What a setup by Vickers to Kaler, and Coach Stuart Hooper could only call for time. It's his last of the set and maybe of the match.
Yeah, the way the Saints are playing in this one, it might very well be his last in the match because the Saints are just not letting their foot off the gas pedal whatsoever in this one. And the Sheridan Bruins, as we mentioned a lot throughout this match, have done a great job on defense, but they need a little more production on their offensive side of the ball. And if they are going to have any chance in this one, crawl back, they need to get all cylinders clicking here.
And I think the biggest key for this Sheridan team is how do you execute offensively? Because they were great at it for the first set, but I haven't seen the same consistency in the other over these past two sets since. And great play out of the timeout as Bakes hits it off the block and on St. Clair's side as Haurigi sets to serve. Vickers to Smith for that kill as Ariana Carl has had a couple of serves in which has stymied Sheridan. And Bakes, either she was blocked or it never went over the net.
Bates, I believe that one just never went over the net. But Bates has been amazing in this one for the Sheridan Bruins.
And Firth took a little bit of a tumble into that Sheridan Bruins side. Although a nice catch by the umpire there. By the other official across from the main one. And Ariana Carl tried to pull a fast one. It did not work.
Now the officiating has been spotty in this one, but they made the right call on that one.
But at this point, when you're up with the way St. Clair is up, you might as well try to do something different. switch
Absolutely.
things up as Agar hits that serve into the net. Right. Excuse me, Bushby, sorry. St. Germain. Agar hit the antenna. Or hit the volleyball stanchion. And now 3 points away are St. Clair from taking this third set and the match. And ending off the first half of this. Somehow, some way, St. Germain just sort of two-hit it, lobbed it, and St. Clair was running to get it, thinking it was going to go out, and then it just lands in. And Hauregi got a finger on that, and it's a tough one. It's kind of like at the line, maybe out. Can't really. You'd have to go for it in that situation. And a great setup there. Clements to Kaler, and now match point. And just like how the first and second set ended, the third set and the match ends with a St. Clair ace.
Yeah, it was a well-fought match by both the Sheridan Bruins and the St. Clair Saints. A lot of good defensive play by both teams, and they just can't melt it. And now that is their 7th loss of the season, while the Saints get their 7th win of the season.
I don't think this score really indicated how Sheridan played. Because in that first set, we saw a completely different Sheridan team. We saw a Sheridan team that had its head on fire. And they showed moments of that in that second and third set.
And thank you for tuning in, folks, and we'll be right back in a little bit with the men's volleyball game against St. Clair as well.
Hello? Cajun Theatre, Danny Caslam.
To start to the thing.
Now, Coach, first things first, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great, and we felt the energy of you and your ladies, especially in that first set, and even throughout the game too. What were you trying to establish in that first set against a Saints team that was 6-1?
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail, right on the head. It's energy is kind of a word we're looking at now as opposed to maybe playing on emotion. So being able to keep the energy up without riding the highs and the lows, which has been a big problem for us this year.
There were multiple rallies in which we kind of thought St. Clair had points, and then pancake after pancake from whether it was Julia Bakes, whether it was from Firth, whether it was even from Shaylin Craig there in that third set. It seemed like everyone just got in on it defensively and kind of got this crowd rolling. As this first semester wraps up, what can you kind of take away from a performance like this?
That we're starting to figure out how to win. We have a lot of first-year athletes on this team, like a lot. I think we have 8. So that takes them a while to get used to the game at this level. Big props to Emily Miller, who had to play middle today because of some injuries and illness. She's a first-year right side trying to play middle against a very, very good middle cadre, and she did a great job. So everybody's gelling. The new system for most of them is starting to work, and they are starting to get used to the game in the OC as opposed to the club teams that they came from.
I guess my last question to you before you head out and then talk to your girls and maybe enjoy this winter break as well. What's gonna kind of be the main area of focus to kind of like navigate for the second half of the
second half? It's just to keep working on what we're doing in practice and be able to translate what really, really good practice is onto the match play. And that's our practices are great, looks good, everything's good. We get into a match, it's a little bit different. I think the first years are getting over their nerves. We have three first-year starters, 2 second-year starters, or 3 second-year starters. So it's a pretty young team, and they're getting it, and they'll get there.
Well, Coach, also, sorry, one last question. 3 weeks, not a home game. How did it feel to finally be back at home? And
It's really good to be home. It's just easier on everybody. No hotels, no long travels, no big bus rides. Come in our own place, their team room, our own stuff. It's just nice to be home.
Well, Coach, I will not hold you any longer. Go enjoy the rest of your night and enjoy this winter break. Of course. Sheridan falling in straight sets to St. Clair, 25-20, 25-15, 25-10. But that result wasn't an indication of what we saw. They played with a ton of energy. Defensively, they were all over the place. Maybe you should give me one.